Welcome back. I'm back. You're back. Hey, we back. Welcome everyone to this episode on the Ultimate Sports TV, guys. Look, we're about to hit training camp season here in the NFL, which means around this time we all give out some rankings for the NFL, and mostly positional rankings. People, I've already done my top 10 quarterbacks, my top 10 running backs, my top 10 receivers, and top 10 tight ends. And by the time training camp is over, I'll have all of my positional rankings done. So you want to be locked in and subscribed to the Ultimate Sports TV. But in this video, I'll be giving you my interior defensive lineman rankings in this video, people. But before I hop into my top 10 for interior defensive linemen, please go ahead and make sure you subscribe to the Ultimate Sports TV. Please make sure you like this video for me, give it a thumbs up. Please share this video for me and YouTube channel. Then comment down below your top 10 interior defensive linemen down in the comment section below, people. But now let's hop into this, and we're going to start with number 10, 9, and 8. Let's get it. Starting this all off, at number 10, I got Leonard Williams. At number 9, I got Kenny Clark. And at number 8, I got Vita. Now, when we're looking at Leonard Williams at number 10, he was a guy last year that showed you if you put him in the right scheme, which he was last year with the Giants, that with his athleticism and the size that he stands at, he is going to be very, very effective for you on your defensive line if you put him in the right scheme. And last year with the Giants, he was in the right scheme, and he showed you that he is going to put up good production in that type of scheme that the Giants run with the 3-4 base kind of defense. Last year he had over 11 sacks. He was one of the interior defensive linemen that had the most pressures, and PFF graded him with a pretty nice run defense grade. So that showed you that if you put him in the right system, he is going to show you that he is a very flexible interior defensive lineman. But not only that, he is also a very good balanced interior defensive lineman that can really stop the run and rush the passer, guys. So Leonard Williams, as a guy really balanced interior defensive lineman, I like him to be in this top 10. Now, I expect him to move up this list after 2021, because I think in that third year in the Giants scheme, he will really flourish and be maybe like a top 7, top 6 interior defensive lineman. But I definitely think with his year last year, what I expect him to do this year, I think he deserves a spot in the top 10. At number 9 with Kenny Clark, he's a guy that's probably not as balanced as a lot of other guys on this list, but he is very consistent, a guy who is very disruptive with his pressures on that Packers interior defensive line, and he's a guy that is really, really good as a run stuffer. So Kenny Clark definitely deserves a spot in the top 10. With Vita at number 8, he's a guy that really showed his valuability to the Buccaneers last year, really as a run defender. We know that in that first couple weeks that he was in there, he was definitely valuable as a run defender and was showing that he was really one of the best run defending interior defensive linemen in all of the league. But when he went out, we saw the gaping hole on the Bucs interior defensive line, mainly of how they could not stop the run there because Vita was gone. It showed us how valuable of a run defender that Vita really was. And when he came back, he definitely made some noise as a run defender and even as a pass rusher. Although he's not one of the most productive pass rushers, he can definitely make some disruption there in the as an interior defensive lineman. But really last year, he showed his valuability as a run defender last year. When he was out, we saw how much the Bucs need him, and when he came back in, he definitely showed out. So Vita is at 8 for me. At number 9, I got Kenny Clark, and at number 10, I got Leonard Williams. Moving along, at number 7, I got Stephon Tuitt. At number 6, I got Grady, Jarrett. And at number 5, I got Fletcher. Now, when we're looking at number 7, it's Stephon Tuitt. He's a guy that deserves a spot in the top 10, and he is a very good, well-rounded interior defensive lineman. Now, while he needs to stay consistent and be available, remember, the best ability is availability. He'll definitely need to work on that and being consistent. But last year he did have over 11 sacks. He showed you that he can be a very, very effective run stuffer. And Stephon Tuitt on that Steelers defensive line has garnered some double teams over the years, mainly on passing downs. So Stephon Tuitt, I think he deserves a spot in this top 10. And at number 6 with Grady, Jarrett, he's a guy that really flies under the radar when we're talking about interior defensive linemen. He's a guy that's also very well-rounded. Him as a run defender, though, on that defensive line with the Falcons, he doesn't have much help, really, as a pass rusher or a run defender. And he has been able to excel in both, being the guy that can really do both, but not having a lot of help, but still putting up great production as an interior defensive lineman. And at number 5 with Fletcher Cox, although he didn't have that top 5, top 3 kind of Fletcher Cox season prior to 2020, he still did have about 7 sacks in 2020. He had 31 quarterback hurries, and he had 4 quarterback hits. So as a pass rusher, Fletcher Cox is still very, very disruptive, and I think he deserves to be a top 5 interior defensive lineman on this list, also knowing that he is really, really good as a run stuffer. Moving along into the top 4, at number 4, I got Cameron Heyward. At number 3, I got Deforest Buckner. And at number 2, I got Chris Jones. Now, when we're looking at Cameron Heyward at number 4, the reason he didn't really get into the top 3 was because last year he didn't really have the pass rushing production that Deforest Buckner or Chris Jones had. But you cannot deny that as a pass rusher, Cameron Heyward is absolutely one of the best as an inside defensive lineman. Although he only had about 4 sacks in 2020, the years prior, he's had and averaged about 8.5 sacks a year, and that's incredible for an inside defensive lineman. But let's not forget, he is just a disruptor. Everything about Cameron Heyward screams disruption. We know he's a good pass rusher, but as a run defender, he is also really, really good. And we cannot ignore that last year he had 21 forced incompletions just being a disruptor, and the disruptor that Cameron Heyward is. He's so big, and he is going to force your best offensive lineman into really, really bad spots because he is so big but so skilled at the same time. You have these inside defensive linemen where you know that, hey, they're good at pass rushing and they're good at run defending, but neither one jumps out to you. When you look at Cameron Heyward, both of these things jump out to you. Just the reason he's not in the top 3 is because he didn't have the pass production that guys like Deforest Buckner or Chris Jones did. But when we're looking at Deforest Buckner at number 3, he's a guy that I think is just an absolutely well-rounded inside defensive lineman, but not only at the point of just being a run defender or a pass rusher, but a guy who can bat passes down, a guy that can stop the run in many ways, a guy that can pass rush you all around no matter where he is on the field. Deforest Buckner, with his size and his length, can just be disruptive no matter where he is on the field. We know what he is as a pass rusher or a run defender. When Deforest Buckner was on the field for the Indianapolis Colts last year, they only allowed 3.7 yards a rush. But when he was off the field, they allowed 5 yards a rush. So that shows you how much impact that Deforest Buckner has as a run defender, but also as a pass rusher. He can really line up anywhere on your defensive line, being from the interior or just lining up outside. He'll give offensive linemen nightmares no matter where he is on the field. Look, he won on 33.3% of his edge rushes, which is showing you that he can really line up on anywhere on the field. So he is dang good at pass rushing and also dang good at run defending. But when it comes to being a disruptor with his long arms, but also his ability to take up space as an interior defensive lineman, but also line up anywhere and do the same thing, but also get off the line quick and get production, Deforest Buckner is definitely one of a kind at the interior defensive line position. And really, as a pass rusher, you like the versatility that he has. But another guy that really has versatility at the pass rushing kind of position is Chris Jones, and I've got him at number 2 here. Chris Jones, now look, he can get better as a run defender, but that doesn't mean he's a bad run defender. He's definitely a guy that can take up space in the middle or no matter where he lines up on the defensive line. He's just not the run defender that a guy like Aaron Donald or maybe even Deforest Buckner is. But the reason he is at number 2 is just that he's that impactful of a pass rusher. He's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, only being an interior defensive lineman. They can line him outside on the edge or they can put him on the interior. He's still something, and he just wreaks havoc for anywhere that he is on that defensive line for the Chiefs. Chris Jones, though, on tape and with production, he is going to give you an eye-popping thing to look at. And although he did only have 8 sacks this past year, he showed you that no matter who's lined up against him or no matter where he's lined up, he is going to be a disruptor and is going to be an all-world pass rusher. Look, here's some stats. Now look, being single team last year as an interior defensive lineman, he won 25% of his pass rushes, and when he was double teamed last year, he won 17% of his pass rushes last year. So that shows you what kind of power he has and what kind of skill he has at that defensive tackle position. He's just that good of a pass rusher, and that is why he's at number 2 on this list. But when you look at him as a run defender, he has certainly improved, because there were misfits about his run defense a couple years ago, but this year being used more as a run defender and being more successful in that run defense area, that really makes sure, that really puts into perspective why Chris Jones should be at number 2 on this list. He's such a disruptor and can definitely carry a load on a defensive line, and that's another reason he's at number 2 on this list. Now, we already know who's at number 1. You already know who I'm going to give the crown to right here. That's Aaron Donald. It's undeniable. He is the best interior defensive lineman in all of the league. He's a future Hall of Famer. We know with the Defensive Player of the Year awards he's won, he's just that disruptive and that good at the interior defensive lineman position. Really, when you're looking at Aaron Donald, though, you really just hope to stop the man. You hope that you can at least do something to get the ball off quickly, just to make sure he does not stop you. And he is that disruptive. He's arguably just a one-man show that is going to put up a bunch of stats, and you just don't understand how he does it. He's had a 24.2% pass rush win rate last year, and that's best among all interior defensive linemen, and that's just incredible. No matter where he is on the field, as a run defender, as a pass rusher, Aaron Donald is just that good, and make no mistake about it, he's a future Hall of Famer. He won Defensive Player of the Year. Aaron Donald is just that good no matter where he is on the field. I don't understand what else you can say. You see the numbers, you see the tape, and you can't put anyone in front of Aaron Donald. He's the best defensive player in all of football, and that's why he's number 1 on this list. But at his position, man, Aaron Donald on tape and with his production, there's no argument. I don't even have to really just throw out anything right now, because I believe we just all know that Aaron Donald is just that dude at the interior defensive line position, guys. But this has been my top 10 interior defensive linemen going into 2021, everyone. Make sure you give yours in the comment section below. Other than that, this has been Malik Hicks, aka The Ranker, the Ultimate Sports TV, signing off. Peace out, and I'll see you in my next one.